Hello, I am at Haunted Sponge on Twitter and Instagram. My name is Will Rogers, and I'm here to dig into Box 6 of Hunt-A-Killer, the monthly subscription service where you commune with a murderer, a serial killer. It's part of the fun, it's part of the ongoing mystery, and hopefully we'll get a little closer to figuring out exactly what is going on here, because it's not always easy to put the pieces together. Now, in previous live streams, I have included my unboxing as part of this video, my theories video. I have decided to instead let them live alone. I know that there are some people that like unboxings, but maybe they don't want my help with the theories and vice versa. Maybe there are people that want my theories, but they don't want me to open a package on camera for them. So go into the Talk Bomb archives on YouTube. That's my production company, Talk Bomb, where you can watch me unbox episode 6, and you can watch me drop stuff, make mistakes, kind of like this stream. Well, anyway. I also do want to say that this live stream shout out is dedicated to our buddy Charles, who's in the hospital right now. Hope you're doing well, Charles. Hope you get better soon, soon, soon. I know that you're watching, which is crazy. I did not expect that you could possibly be here to watch this live, but you are. So this show is dedicated to you, pal. Get better, and let's solve some crimes. I should also say that this live stream is going out not only on the Talk Bomb YouTube page, but also in the Hunt-A-Killer Facebook group, or at least it should be. I hope it's going out live. It's kind of a new thing that I'm trying, and hopefully it works well. I decided to add it at the 0 hour when the Hunt-A-Killer founder, Ryan Hogan, suggested that we do it for next month's box 7. But because I decided to bite off more than I could chew, I decided to add it real quick right now, hence some slight technical difficulties. Anyway, that's why I'm holding this microphone right now. But it should sound okay, at least. Okay. So why don't we get into box 6? I don't want to do like a full unboxing, but I do want to do a little bit of a recap of the items that we're going to be getting up close and personal with in this video, because they are, well, cryptic. I would dare say that they're actually even more cryptic than they usually are, which is saying a lot, because I have been unsure how to proceed. I've been unsure how to put everything together. But maybe with everybody in the chat, everybody jumping into it and doing it together, maybe we can figure it out. So here we go. Also, I am monitoring the chat. I'm like Big Brother from 1984. So if anything is screwy with audio or whatever, let me know, because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants, which I was not expecting I would be doing. Anyway, so here is the envelope for box 6. Now, the reason that I like to do the unboxing separate from my live stream is because I like to have an opportunity to get up close and personal with some of the clues, so that you don't have to sit here and watch me actually, read the letter from John William James and read the letter from Listening Friends of America. I like to have that stuff done and out of the way, so that we can just sit here and try to figure stuff out. So why don't we jump in. Oh boy. Hey, I also did something a little crazy. I solved a clue already, and not in the way that I was intended to, which is obvious. It's clear that I was not supposed to solve this thing the way that I solved it, but I did solve it. Here is the master lock that came in box 6, which you all should be pretty familiar with. Now, there is a clue in box 6 that gives you the answer to opening this lock, but that is not the way that I did it. So I was messing around with this thing, and I'm a big fan of doing escape rooms. I've done probably like 15 of them. My buddy owns his own escape room. Owns his own escape room in New Jersey. Unlock escape rooms, and I might actually be helping him write an escape room, because he's going to be revamping one of his rooms soon, so I might be helping out with the story. But one of the things that I've always done in escape rooms, which I know is kind of controversial, is I tend to break the games. Not ruin them, But if there is something that I can logically deduce, I tend to just kind of grind through it until I figure it out. So, we have a combination lock, right? 3 digits. Boy, it would take me less time to explain the proper solution to this, but even still, I want to half brag, half call myself out for being a dork. Anyway, so three number lock, right? Now, that means that there are 999 possibilities for how to pop this lock. But what I did is I literally just went back, and I'll relock it for the purposes of this. I went back to 000, which is, what it would be by default to open it. And that doesn't open it, so I went to 1. That doesn't open it, so I went to 2. And I just kept doing that. It takes like what? Like less than a second per thing. Anyway, the solution is 413. That solution is literally printed on one of the clues in the box here. But what I did instead was I just tried 413 combinations. I basically counted to 413 and popped it. I was prepared to get all the way to 999. But anyway, that was something that I was able to do without like having the rest of the clues in front of me. So I figured, well, I'll figure out the solution and work my way back from there. And then once I figured out the solution and I had time to sit and look at the clues again, boy, did I feel stupid because it was pretty much right there in front of me. The 413 is printed on the card for John William James's mother from her funeral. 413. So if I just tried the numbers in here, I would have gotten it. But you can understand why I would think that it would be a little more complex. In the Listening Friends of America letter, which is where I really actually want to start, pretty standard. We have a letter from Jacob Nilsson, who is the head of the Darlington, Maryland Listening Friends of America facility. And just like last month, when there was sort of a cryptic series of words printed at the bottom of the letter, this time, the cryptic message is the alphabet and seemingly random numbers. So it says, literally, A3, B6, C2, D3, E1, F6, G2, blah, 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 blah. Now, that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I sounded like I forgot the alphabet, but I promise you I did not. Now, I thought that was maybe sort of like a substitution code. So A equals 3, B equals 6. I thought that maybe this was going to end up being the like way outside the box solution to the lock. And I figured maybe by solving the lock first, I would paint this in a new light. I'd have more context for what you're supposed to do with this. But no. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, as I sit here before you, I have no idea what this is for. Maybe because it seems like it would be random. Like they're like in couplets. Well, couplets is not the right word, but A3, B4 or whatever is they're printed. So it's A3 space 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 B6 space space space. Glancing at it, it seemed random, but it's just the alphabet and numbers. So maybe just like, and this is me thinking out loud. I had not thought this until this point. Just like the letters are actually in order, maybe the numbers are in order. Could 362, 316, 234, 741, 765, 781, 242, 66259 be something? Could that be a code? Kimmy Mack in the chat says bingo, but I think there's got to be more of a delay between me saying that in the chat, although I would love for that to just flat out be the solution. 362, 316. It'd be cool if that was a phone number or something. We do get in a couple of seconds to actually being able to communicate with the characters in the game, but it's the alphabet, so there's 26 numbers, not a phone number. But also the actual message in this letter I find interesting. Dear listening friend, as we continue to build toward a bright and productive future, let's not forget our roots. I thought maybe that was one, sounds like it could be a tree reference. or maybe a farm reference, which we're going to get. We all start somewhere, and it is important to remember that. Without hard work, we can never know what it feels like to succeed. There is a joy that comes out of the end of a struggle, I think. So keep your friends in mind when you struggle too. They may have had it worse than you ever did. The best thing we can do for each other is to trust one another. Now, in a bit, we're going to find out that we're going to get a little bit more of John William James, our pen pal's story. And so, because we know, just for a quick recap, in case you don't pore over all these details during the month when you're waiting for a new box, we know that John William James is able to get out of his cell, and that he probably is in cahoots with Jacob Nilsson, who runs the facility, unless he killed Jacob Nilsson and is acting as him. It's unclear to me. But the fact that Jacob Nilsson is saying, keep your friends in mind when you struggle too. They may have had it worse than you ever did. Feels like we're supposed to feel bad for John William James. And I do. I mean, his letter is horrible, but it's just a weird light to paint him in. I read in a fortune cookie once that it is more shameful to distrust your friends than to be deceived by them. So it's more shameful to be like, I don't trust John William James, than it is to be like, oh, John William James is getting the better of me. I don't know why that's more shameful. Because you don't trust your friends, I guess. Makes some sense. Keep faith in what you do because your trust means everything to your friend. Listen well. Your friend believes in you. And that final use of the word friend is the only time that word is capitalized. Capital F, friend. Jenny Mira in the chat. It feels like a bit of a warning. Don't tell on our friend if we want him to keep cooperating with us. That's interesting. Well, this might be one of those things where we find out, all right, the fact that you just said that, Jenny, is awesome because I sold him out. Well, no, I didn't. I did not sell him out. Oh, man, you just like, that almost gave me like a chill down my spine. This is where it's like the fun of it being asymmetrical, that I might do something different from you guys watching. This is where that kind of thing is really going to pay off. I wasn't going to jump to this clue just yet, but now I'm thinking about it, so I'm doing it. So we had this bag, right? I didn't open the bag in my unboxing because I thought that there was going to be something gnarly in it. And because I don't want to give away everything in the live stream. So much of this is notes and letters and stuff like that. So I don't want Hunted Killers of business. I don't want to broadcast every clue on the internet clearly in high def. But anyway, so in there, we had a letter, well, a printout of an email from George Madsen's wife to Jacob Nilsson. Now that's notable because we theorized that George Madsen may have been killed by John William James. There was a cryptic letter, was it in box 3? I think it was in box 3 with the bloody pen. There was a cryptic note that John William James said, I got M. I got M, which could be I got him, or it could be M, the letter M, meaning Madsen. I got him. And now we have this printout of an email from George Madsen's wife, Val, to Jacob Nilsson, the new head of the Darlington facility, saying, I'm sorry to bother you. I haven't heard anything from George. The police are saying he's either left or doesn't want to be found. It's becoming clear that the police are giving up on the search for George Madsen. And so she's asking if he has any information. Now, from what I can tell in this, Jacob never emailed her back, but she emailed him a second time. Jacob, I know it hasn't been long, but I want to tell you I found something. It looks like George was doing some work on the side because I found a file full of documents that look like they have something to do with Listening Friends of America and the compound in Darlington in the study. Now, in this printout, we can very plainly see Val Madsen, George Madsen's wife's email address. So, what I did, and I'm sure a lot of you watching did the exact same thing, I emailed her. And it's funny, Jenny Mira in the chat, that you say the Listening Friends of America letter may have been a warning, because that warning would be Don't sell your friend out. He's had it rough. Trust your friend. Don't deceive your friend. Don't assume the worst about your friend. Well, unfortunately, I think I may have done what they were warning me not to do. Okay. I emailed Valerie Madsen. I'm going to read you what I wrote because it's half embarrassing and it's half because I was trying to be in the game. I felt like I wanted to make sure that I didn't go like, "Hey, who are you? Hey, can you send me a clue?" I wanted to act like I was in the game because I'm supposed to be in the game. So here's what I wrote. Feel free to call me out as a nerd. Anyway, I emailed madaboutval@gmail.com. Hello, my name is Will Rogers, and first and foremost, I want to extend my condolences. I understand your husband, George Madsen, has gone missing. I'm very sorry, and I hope more news comes to light soon. I'm a volunteer for Listening Friends of America, and for some time now, I've been curious about their operations. I've been corresponding with a patient, damn it, I did mention him. I've been corresponding with a patient for a few months, and I and have reason to believe that something suspicious is occurring at the Darlington facility. I hope I'm not being too cryptic, but I thought I might reach out and ask, is there any information you can share with me about LFOA? I think we might be able to accomplish more together. Thanks in advance, Will. Now, as you can tell, basically, I mean, look at me. I'm one man alone in a room. Granted, I've got all you guys. And hey, Charles is in the chat. Yo! Charles emailed her too. I have a talking problem. I talk a lot. Go to talkbomb.com where I do podcasts. I had a new episode of Will and Bobby Know Everything out on Monday where we made fun of Jamie Kennedy and Kevin Smith a little bit. And on Book Club Schmuck Club, my other podcast, we reviewed George Orwell's 1984. And there's a bonus show coming out on Friday. Anyway, I talk a lot. So I was a little bummed because somebody I figured from Hunt to Killer must be monitoring that inbox. And I figured, crap, I wrote a lot. Somebody's going to have to sift through my stupid, acting email and hope I eventually get to the point. But there's an automated response, which, of course, is the smartest way to do it. I got this email back from Valerie Madsen's account. I have left behind this contemptible machine to explore the full spectrum of life. Please allow me the time I need. I know this is sudden, but do not worry over me. I am simply escaping for a little meditative life reflection. Always, Val. That's definitely John William James. And he either killed her, like he probably snuck out and killed Lloyd McGowan, which we found out about last month, or, and this is maybe a little weirder, it's a little dramatic, but, I mean, well, murder's dramatic too, so, or maybe Jacob Nielsen and John William James kidnapped her? I don't know. Kimmy Mack in the chat. I just emailed sup. You probably got the exact same results. Like I said, I have a talking problem. Go to talkbomb.com. I record a lot of comedy shows. Anyway, so John William James got her. He got M, right? He got Madsen. So in some way, he's got her too. He either killed her or he literally has her captive as a prisoner. I responded to that email too. That's for the record. I may as well put it out there. I responded to that email as well. I wrote an email back to that robot. I wanted to be in universe. I'm having fun. It's like murder mystery dinner theater or something, which I actually did once. I played Frasier. Literally, Kelsey Grammer's Frasier in a murder mystery dinner theater company's murder mystery version of Cheers. I played Frasier. I got paid to do that. Anyway, back in the printout of Valerie Madsen's emails, she signed off by saying, I want to be close to George again, which is sad. Her husband's missing from her perspective. We know he's dead. We're pretty sure. So I responded to her email saying she's gone away. I said, I understand this is an automated message, but I think you're much closer to George now. So mysterious. I'm a dork. Anyway, it was fun at the time, and now it's lightly embarrassing. A little bit. Slightly. Uh, anyway, Valerie Madsen in that automated message referred to her computer as a contemptible machine, which is obviously, we know that John William James thinks very little about things like typewriters and computers and stuff, so I feel like that's in particular the giveaway. Here's the thing. So the only reason that we think that he killed George Madsen is because he said I got M in a message that was written in binary, zeros and ones. But I wonder if he got him and now he's got Val. I mean, I'm inclined to think that it must mean murder, right? Like, why wouldn't it be murder? This is Hunt a Killer. That's the point of the game. There's murder afoot. But I just want to put it out there until we know definitively. It's also not impossible that he has both of them in the Darlington facility. Could he be collecting patients? Could he be getting new patients? First time I thought about it, but I kind of like it. That's kind of a fun idea. Padme Tigers in the chat. I happen to like listening to your talking problem. Thank you. That is exactly what I need to hear. I crave validation. Thank you very much. Okay. That's about as far as I got on the emails, at least. Although I should say the other item that was in the baggie, along with the printed out email, very sadly, this is genuinely a bummer. Val and George Madsen are they have a kid. They have a son. So also in that envelope was this from their son. I miss you. Or miss you, Dad. The M is kind of wonky. It kind of looks like a W a little bit. Miss you, Dad. Clearly made in like Microsoft Paint. Cool. Please come home soon, Noah. It's missing an E. Please come home soon, Noah. Now, I don't know what to make of these two things. One, I want to believe that everything is a clue, but honestly, like, this is a kid's card, right? Like, maybe at best, if you want to like really go above and beyond, the fact that there's no E on please, maybe that corresponds to the Listening Friends of America letter. E is 1. You know, maybe that's saying 1. But John William James didn't make this, you know. Noah did. However, counter argument, it was obviously possible that this was in John William James's possession. I don't know why these two items come in this bag with Jacob Nilsson's initials on it. You know, that's kind of suspicious. I don't know. You know, that implies that Jacob Nilsson examined this package and said that it was safe to go out, which is really weird. You know, I just don't know. I don't know why he has that letter from Noah. Did Noah write a message saying, I miss you, Dad, and then send it to Listening Friends of America's Darlington facility? Did they steal it from the Madsen house when they went there? Do they also have the kid? You know, I don't know how to interpret that. Jenny Mira. Seems like maybe Jacob Nilsson gave us that separately from John William James. That's cool. He could also be... Maybe it is about having captives, right? Like, maybe it is John William James, like I said, collecting new patients for the Darlington facility. Lloyd McGowan was released, right? So, that's an empty cell. Throw Val Madsen in there. Jacob Nilsson could also be in a cell. You know? I don't know. I just don't know. So those are still sort of just general loose ends for me right now. Although I do want to say, you know, I didn't even bring it up yet. But this is at least, well, no, it should be for all of us, right? Like whether you're on box 6 or 7 or whatever. This is the first time that we've ever gotten like such strong like meta materials from Hunt a Killer in the box, right? Like we had a card that basically sort of reintroduces us to the very concept of hunt a killer, which I thought was cool. So yeah, literally, welcome to the hunt in big bold letters at the top, getting us reacquainted with things. This is also the first time that it's really, I've been seeing references to the fact that this story will be wrapping up in the 8th box, right? I've been referring to these things on like the Talk Bomb YouTube channel and on TalkBomb.com as being like, I'm on box 6. Even the cover art for this show on YouTube is The Haunted Sponge opens box 6. But really what this is season 1, box 6, right? We have 2 stories that are happening. We had, we've got the John William James story. What's he up to? What does he want with us? Why is he sending us these things? And then we have the smaller cases. Like we had Lloyd McGowan that lasted up until, it was truly concluded last time in box 5. Now we've got the Heather story that started in box 5 and continues in this box. But I guess this is all ramping up to what they're calling literally a season finale in box 8, which is a really cool idea. Really exciting. But I wonder if stuff like this, right? Like, I feel like this is part of the big story. The Madsen family being kidnapped. The story of John William James and the Darlington facility. We've got another breadcrumb, but I think that we're going to continue building up to this in boxes 7 and concluding in 8. But the thing that we're actually able to sort of focus on is the current story of the sort of current other killer that John William James has brought to our attention. Lloyd McGowan is gone. We're on to Heather. So why don't we talk about Heather? I'm confused. I'll say that. I'm confused about Heather. We have another letter from Heather. I called her Charlotte in my unboxing video, and it irritated me the second I uploaded it, but it's too late. Dear John, I hope you've enjoyed watching my progress. No one knows it was me. No one but you, I mean. Do you like it? Winky face? She's using emojis. I'm waiting for you at the first obelisk, misspelled, at noon every day. I'm staying at a motel not far away. There's an internet cafe nearby. They only have white paper for printing, so I had to bring my own. I can't wait to get on your boat and sail away. This world isn't right for us, is it? No. It's people like us who need to lead the way. We provide the direction for everyone else, isn't that right? And where we go is across the Styx, isn't it? River Styx. I heard that they stopped looking for me back home. Blah, 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 blah. Love, Heather. P.S. The guy who runs the place was a little upset with me when I switched out his paper for mine in the printer. That's nothing to get upset about. I think there might be one more before we go. Here's a question. And I don't know this for sure. It's really weird, right? Like, serial killers have hooks, right? I don't understand why her seeming hook is cool letters with sick borders. Look at these sweet palm trees. But back in box 5, sorry, I'm getting my numbers mixed up, and I got to start getting used to saying like episode 5 and stuff like that. But yeah, back in box 5, we had our first ever letter from Heather that was printed on blue paper, and it had a different border on it. Now, I don't really know what to make of it. They look just kind of like asterisks or flowers or, I don't know what you want to call them. And then this time now, palm trees. So here's what I'm thinking. Every time she kills someone, she sends a letter to John William James. Or every time she kills someone, this is for some reason her effort to memorialize the occasion. Maybe she killed the first guy. We know she kills like by water, right? So maybe she killed the first guy in a lake. Well, I should also go to those clippings where they sort of do they actually say where they were killed? Snowflakes. I like that coming back. And then maybe in this one she killed the guy on a beach because we've got palm trees. but I just don't know. Why is she waiting at the first obelisk every day at noon? Like, John William James is incarcerated. He can't come out every day at noon. Why is she waiting for him there? Unless it's just that sort of like pining. I just don't know. Charles in the chat. Heather burned her old identity. Obelisk could be Washington Monument. An internet cafe is a few blocks away. That's cool. But the problem is for me, like the palm trees. Like I feel like that suggests a tropical climate, right? Like, what else are they for? Kimmy Mack. I think the back home reference refers to the liver killing article in the Meeman Shelby Forest. And the guy from the Cyber Cafe was the guy from the Indian Head, Maryland article. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the fact that she's calling out a guy very specifically in this article could mean that he is one of her victims. We don't know the timeline. We don't know the timeline for any of this stuff. So I don't know what to make of this. Definitely, for sure, the border of the paper has something to do with it. This is a clue somehow. Why does she? Why she can't? She can't do this with regular white paper. They only have white paper for printing, so I had to bring my own. The guy who runs the place was a little upset with me when I switched out his paper for mine in the printer. That's nothing to get upset about. I think there might be one more before we go. No, I guess that is... I'm stupid. That is a reference to her being like, I'm going to kill that guy because he got mad at me for switching out the printer. Why would... Here's a dumb question. Why would that guy get annoyed with her for wanting to switch out the paper? She's a customer. Do whatever the hell you want. It's just paper. Just switch out the page. Who cares? I'm going on my lunch break. Anyway. So, guys in the chat, does anyone have any idea about Heather? Because I would be very curious to hear your thoughts. I just do not know what to make of her at all. I'm in the dark 100% completely. Anyway. Let's move on to John William James. So John William James wants us to know him a little bit better. I believe I have mentioned my mother in a previous letter. That was not my proudest moment, no. But I believe you deserve to know more, least of all because I brought her up in the first place. She was a hard-working woman, my mother. Without her example, I would never have understood the connection between difficulty and caring, between pain and kindness. She inspired me in the way that I hope I will inspire others. Now, that jumped out at me. She inspired me in the way that I hope I will inspire others. Well, we all know that he's a weirdo kidnapper murder guy. So he goes on to explain a time that his father, I'm guessing, killed his mother. The day my mother died back in the 70s, my father had been particularly hard on us. He goes on to explain the crops had not been doing well, and so on. He saw his father beating his mother. He took to beating my mother. If I got in the way, he beat me too. So I'm guessing his father beat his mother to death right in front of him, right? I don't get it. Did his father beat his mother, and his mother was also, hear me out because this is nutty, a serial killer who taught John William James how to kill or something? I don't know. Yeesh. Okay, backpedaling to some thoughts in the chat about Heather. Shanna Wright Johnson. Maybe there was a symbolic reason as to why she chose the blue paper instead of any other color. Blue is the color of the sky and the sea. It is often associated with depth and stability. It symbolizes trust, loyalty, wisdom, confidence, intelligence, faith, truth, and heaven. Charles, blue paper, blue pig. Well, that's a far more simple thing to say than Shanna Wright Johnson's poetry, Charles. But you might have a point. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see this. Little piggy. Little tiny piggy that was in the envelope. She could be the kid from the story or the mother. Interesting. Did they grow up in Ohio together? John William James and Heather? Is that what you're saying? Did they grow up in Ohio together? I don't know. When he died, my father left me clinging to chaos. I'm on unknown, ill-combed bogs. He's now on paths of copper upon, I imagine, a lake of fire. My father is now not unlike Perilos? I don't know how to pronounce the name. I apologize. Riding his brazen bull. At least that is my hope, but who can deduce the truth of such things? The brazen bull reference, the Perilos reference, is an awesome thing that I don't think I ever knew about. A brazen bull was a torture and execution device. It was literally a hollow metal bull that you could drop a person in and burn them alive. And then the steam being expelled from the bull would make the sound of a bull's like roar or snort. That is so bonkers. That is like so over the top, nutty, insane, and cool. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see me looking at the article for it, and you can see my goofball magnification device. But yeah, here's a person being put into a metal bull to be burned alive. Come on. That is crazy. I love that. I love references to stuff like that. That things that like you're like, why have I never heard of this before? Why did I never know about this before? I'm glad I know it now. Hey, Charles, don't you make fun of me. Yeah, I dropped that pig. And I'll drop it again, damn it. So, the pig. I legitimately think that the pig is a reference to the brazen bull. And here's why. One, a pig is not a bull. I know that. I'm no dummy. But we have this teeny tiny, absurdly small Ryan Hogan, Hunter Killer Masterminds. What are you thinking giving us a tiny little thing like this? I was very lucky that I managed to find this after I dropped it. And I'm very unlucky that I dropped it even after Charles warned everybody in the Facebook group. But so we've got this teeny tiny little blue pig bead. There's no way you guys can see me as I'm holding it, but you can see it on YouTube. And because it's a bead, it has a channel running through it, right? Like that's where you would put some string or whatever for a bracelet. You know, whatever the hell thing you're trying to build with a little piggy. Anyway, this is sort of I've been watching a lot of David Lynch movies, so I've been thinking a lot in like really flowery film nerd terms. This is a pretty decent metaphor for the brazen bull, right? We have livestock, and it is hollow. It's not hollow in the same fashion, but it's hollow. Is this a brazen bull? Does John William James feel as if someone was executed? Right? You know, I don't know. Does he feel like he was persecuted? Does he feel like... You know, I think, what is the context that he literally mentions the brazen bull in? He mentions it in terms of his father, right? Yeah, my father is now not unlike Perilos, riding his brazen bull. At least that is my hope. But who can deduce the truth of such things? He's saying it literally in terms of his father, but I mean, it could mean, frankly, just about anything else. Also, the fact that John William James's mother was killed in front of him. I mean, he says he ran away, but he knows that she was being killed in front of him. That's probably got to do something to your psyche that might make you turn out a little kooky. I'm not saying it's a definite, and I don't want to be so frivolous with mental illness, but we're talking about a grandiose serial killer, not unlike Hannibal Lecter, and that's not a bad origin story. Pig is also referring to his life in Ohio and the Ohio Farmer article. Charles, you and I are on the exact same page. The pig looks like something from a little girl's bracelet. Maybe it belonged to Heather. Uh, what? Jen, you lost the pig bead for a second time. You got to be careful with these things. It's so easy to lose. So easy to lose. I'm now keeping it in the teeny tiny Ziploc bag that our super cool Hunter-Killer can. What? Hunter-Killer pin came in. So that way I do not lose it myself. Because otherwise, oh, I definitely would. Okay, the Ohio pig farmer article. Any ideas, anyone? Charles, you and I are on the exact same page because that is immediately what it made me think of. Honestly, even if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see all the images that I'm putting up. But the prayer card for John William James's mother, it mentions a town on it. Let's see if I can get a better shot of this. It's always tricky when I try to do stuff like this live, but I'll give it a try. Yeah, so there's a town here. Somewhere in Ohio. What is it? Cecil, Ohio. Anyway, we have the Ohio pig farmer newspaper clipping, or an entire page of the newspaper. Boy, oh boy, where was that? That was actually what I was going to sit down to do when I decided to add Facebook, which maybe wasn't the brightest idea. But yeah, all right, box 4. The Ohio farmer. Cecil, Ohio, I guess, is the town that John William James is from, right? That is where he lived with his parents. That's where his farm was. It also occurred to me at a certain point in the last couple of days that we had a photograph of a barn, a red barn. I thought, hey, maybe I can find that barn. Like I don't know to the extent that Hunter-Killer set up the game. I don't know, like, that photo, is it a stock photo? Did they send somebody out to take it? Did they go to the actual location where it's meant to be? I don't know. But anyway, that was a thought that occurred to me, that maybe on Google Earth you could find that barn in Cecil, Ohio. But who knows? So yeah, I definitely think that at bare minimum, at the minimum, this does tie back to this newspaper page somehow. This must be the newspaper that they would have received in Cecil, Ohio. Although, once again, the fact that this is dated from April 23rd, 1892, makes it unlikely that this was, something that John William James and family were reading at the time. It just, pretty unlikely. It's pretty old. Anyway, pencil. I looked it over. I did not find a reference to Cecil, Ohio. All right, well, I'm glad you looked. I did not have the time, so thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing. Cecil, the sounds of water. I don't know. So, doubling all the way back to where we started, we got our Listening Friends of America letter, and I have a highlighter. Hunter-Killer loves to send you office supplies, which I think is awesome and funny. But this, interestingly enough, was not in the Listening Friends of America envelope. It was in the Hunter-Killer box. Now, I know that sometimes clues have come in the box and not in the envelope, but especially with all of the Hunter-Killer materials that we got starting this month, it felt to me like there is a big distinction being made between what Hunter-Killer sends us as meta and what is included in the envelope because it's being sent to us by John William James. So anyway, that's got really nothing to do with anything. I just kind of wanted to point it out. Now, why a highlighter, right? On the one hand, to highlight something, but what? It's got to have, this has got to have something to do with the Listening Friends of America letter. I guarantee you, although now that I have said that, I will be wrong. But my feeling is that the sort of cryptic alphabet and number thing on the bottom of the Listening Friends of America letter has everything to do with this letter itself, or the John William James letter, tops at best. Last time we had that series of words on the bottom, And when you circled the uppercase letters and put them in order by drawing a line, it gave you the constellation from the constellation card way back in box 1. Now, this Listening Friends of America letter, if we're going to follow the same rules, then the alphabet and numbers at the bottom are somehow the key to understanding the letter. I don't know. I don't know how. As we continue to build towards a bright and productive future, let's not forget our roots. We all start somewhere, and it's important to remember that. You know, that could just be a reference to John William James's roots. It could be a reference to the game itself. Think back. A clue to think back. Go through the previous boxes to get something. Without hard work, we can never know what it feels like to succeed. There is a joy that comes out of the end of a struggle, I think. So keep your friend in mind when you struggle, too. They may have had it worse than you ever did. The best thing we can do for each other is to trust one another. I read in a fortune cookie once that it is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. I read it in a fortune cookie. Could that be anything? That seems kind of random, right? Keep faith in what you do because your trust means everything to your friend. Listen while your friend believes in you. Sincerely, Jacob Nilsson, Vice President. Alphabet and numbers. I don't know. And a highlighter. I also have a thing. I don't like to modify the materials that we get. I like to, doodle on a printed copy. I like to keep my stuff pristine. So I have not used the highlighter at all. Instead, I'm looking for places where you would use a highlighter, and I just don't know. I just don't know where to go. In terms of what's happening in box 6, frankly, my friends, I think I think I'm at my wit's end. I just don't know. I just don't know where to go. References to Another Murder by Heather. The biggest thing that happened, of course, is that you're able to email Val Madsen, but then that just kind of stops with her automated email back. The sort of ramping tension of John William James is somehow orchestrating this plot to kill anyone who gets in his way, and I guess run the Darlington facility. You know, I just don't know. It feels like we're going somewhere, but we haven't really. It feels like we haven't really done much this time. A lot of clues, and not a great indication of what's supposed to be made of them. And even the lock, right? I guess, you know what's funny enough, I guess I'm not at my wit's end yet because I didn't really discuss the lock beyond the fact that I forced it open. So the lock, 413. The reason that is the answer, I think, here's what I think. John William James gave us the prayer card from his mother's funeral, right? Grace and Faith Center for Fellowship and Worship, which I looked up and it doesn't appear to be real. It's got 3 quotes from the Bible in it. And the final one, the third, is from Thessalonians 4:13. Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind, who have no hope. The reason that is the answer to the lock, because the lock functionally means nothing. It is a token. To me, this is literally just the Hunt a Killer and John William James's means of saying to you, yeah, there's a lot of information in this box. The thing that opens this lock is important. 413 opened the lock. This Thessalonians quote opened the lock. And I looked up all of these verses or whatever. I tried to verify that the quote actually came from that place. Job 1:21. He said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there." That's exactly what that says. Timothy 6:7. For we brought nothing into the world, and neither can we carry anything out of it. I googled it. That's exactly what it says, nothing more. Now, Thessalonians 4:13, when you Google it, it says what's printed on the card, but it also continues on. And that seemed significant to me. So in the interest of just sharing my thought process, this is the full quote from Thessalonians 4:13. This is 4:13 to 4:18. Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you cannot grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep with him. According to the Lord's word, we tell you that we who are still alive, who are left until the coming of the Lord, will certainly not precede those who have fallen asleep. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so will we be with the Lord forever. Therefore, encourage one another with these words. Now, that might be a lot. But the fact that I Googled each one of the quotes and they all just said the quote and stopped until I got to Thessalonians and it had the quote and kept going seemed like it might be significant. And this is sort of about, I'm not a very religious person. This is maybe not the proper interpretation of this. I look like a newsman on YouTube, at least. I don't know how I look on Facebook. But this is about people who follow Jesus being with him, right? And like coming back and rising from the dead. Kind of like John William James has his followers, and his followers don't always follow him willingly. I don't know. I felt like it was worth exploring. I don't know. All right, here's the last thing that I did on my own. So, listening Friends of America letter, cryptic little puzzle at the bottom with numbers. We know the code to open the lock is 413. So I looked at each letter that has a 4 next to it, each letter that has a 1 next to it, and each letter that has a 3 next to it. And I started messing with it. In the Listening Friends of America letter, 3 letters have a 4 next to them. There is I, K, and T. That would be I4, K4, and T4. Then there is E1, L1, and R1. And finally, A3, D3, and H3. Those are all combinations that appear in the bottom. So I just took the letters then. So I have IKT, ELR, ADH. And I put them out in a little grid, right? So that I could just kind of look at them and mess with them and see if anything jumped out at me. And I would, I looked for the word, like the Zodiac Killer. I figured maybe the word kill would be in here. There's KIL, not 2 L's. You can find the word rad, R-A-D is in here. I don't know, kite, who knows? So I'm typically not the person to do this, but I just went online and I found a website that looks for anagrams in letters, and it ran all the combinations, and it came up with Third Lake. Third Lake. THIRD LAKE. Third Lake. Heather. Bodies of water. Third Lake. 3 killings. But didn't she kill 4? I don't know what to make of it. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's it, right? Third Lake. It's not impossible. But I feel like it's foolish to just be like, oh yeah, that's definitely it. But it definitely seems like it would be in theme with the game. Third Lake. And I don't know what to make of it. So I feel like I'm putting a bunch of stuff out there in the universe. I feel like I have done the best that I can with the clues that I've got to put together a story, and they're telling a small next chapter. We've talked in previous live streams. I love having that big aha moment, right? I love having that moment where you're figuring out clues and you go, "Oh my god, yes, that's it." I had that moment a little bit when I noticed the email address on that printout and realized, "Hey, why don't I email Val Madsen?" Um, but I feel like this is a transition again. We've done this before. I think we did this in box 4. Was it in box 4? Where it felt like this is on the way to something, not, this is a destination in and of itself. It's like a road trip, right? Like if you're driving across country, you might stop and see the world's biggest ball of yarn, and that's big and momentous and crazy. And then you keep going, and you see the Grand Canyon, and that's even better. But sometimes you're just driving. A lot of the time, you're just kind of on the way. And that is the clearest I can state what I feel like box 6 is for me. No grandiose spectacle. We're getting somewhere. Especially knowing that there's a season finale coming is bizarre and exciting, and it makes me wonder a couple of things. Does the John William James story go into season 2? It doesn't have to, right? For all we know, Listening Friends of America and John William James will come to an end in box 8. That's not impossible. I'm not going to say that it's flat out likely, but if we're talking about a season finale, maybe this isn't like Lost, where it's like, oh, now we're going to go into the hatch and we're bringing all the baggage from season 1 with us. Maybe it's more like Fargo, where it's like, well, that happened in Darlington, Maryland, but now we're going over here to Louisiana, or something like that. Although Fargo all takes place in Fargo, but you know what I mean. Anthology, rather than everything is serialized. American Horror Story is maybe a better reference. Third Lake, Illinois is 4 hours and 15 minutes from Cecil, Ohio. If it was 4 hours and 13 minutes, I'd flip out. If you drive faster, it's 4 hours and 13 minutes. Look out for red camera lights and look out for the police. No speeding. Be careful out there. Third Lake. That's kind of cool. Is it a town? I do like that. That's an interesting idea. But yeah, so anyway, what I'm saying is I just don't know what to truly make of all of this. Wait, sorry. Let me check in with the chat here because something is happening. Dude, there's a third lake in Ohio, says Jen. Crap, Chicago. And was created in 76. Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait, what is happening? Hold on. What is happening in the chat right now? 413, you're saying it is 4 hours and 13 minutes? What does that mean then? Wait a minute. That feels like it's a coincidence. Okay, alright. Two conversations happening. I'll try to condense them. Jen in the chat. Oxygenated man-made lake. So an oxygenated man-made lake was created in Chicago in 1976, which is the year that John William James's mother died on Christmas. Is that right? Hey, did you guys feel like the hands looked really weird on this thing? Anyway, kind of stupid, but it seems like one is like the hand has almost like a point like nail polish and the other one does. I don't know, stupid. Anyway, okay, so there's a man-made lake in Chicago that was made in 1976. And also, Shanna Wright Johnson is saying that Third Lake, Illinois is 4 hours and 13 minutes exactly from Cecil, Ohio. Here's my one concern. Google Maps might be taking into account traffic. I'm not saying that to discount it. I'm saying, can you confirm? Why don't we just do it? Wait a minute. Why don't we just bear with me? Maybe this. I don't want to build it up too much. I was going to say maybe this will be our aha moment, and it feels like it could easily be, but this also might just be sort of a cryptic-y clue. So, you can see my search results are Ohio Farm, which is stupid. Third Lake, Illinois, we're saying? And then how do I do... Okay, Third Lake, Illinois, and Cecil, Ohio. See, and I'm getting 4 hours and 12 minutes. It's also got tolls, all right? So who's going to take care of the tolls? 4 hours and 12 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that means it's wrong. That is suspiciously close to one of the other big clues from this month's box. But it is very easy, very, very easy to get wrapped up in red herrings, especially in this game. So I'm not saying it's not true. I'm definitely not saying it's not true. I think it's really cool and really weird that it is that close. I'm just saying that I don't want to treat it like two columns of things, right? Like fact column, speculation column. It ends up in speculation column. But it's awesome. That is really cool. Anyway. Charles, your boxes are all at home. Hey, I don't know if this helps at all. I tend to make like scanned backups of each clue so I can look at it wherever I go. That doesn't help you now, so I'm sorry to rub it in. But it does mean that I can look at anything at any time. Jen, I can send you the links to the newspaper, but it may well be a rabbit hole. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Third Lake. I mean, even the thing that this is also like the danger of a red herring, right? We're already going down a rabbit hole because I put together a list of a not an out there possibility. It's not an insane possibility that this is the solution, Third Lake, but there's nothing about it that makes me go, oh yeah, perfect, Third Lake, that's right. It in and of itself is a big guess. So making any giant leaps off of what might already be a giant leap, I'm wary of. But I say we definitely don't forget it. Right? Whew! Alright, I actually feel pretty good about that. That's pretty nutty, everything that just happened here. And it's fun. It's pretty fun. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it quits for this month's Hunt a Killer live stream episode. I don't know how everything's looking on Facebook, but on YouTube, everything looks like it's running fine, and I'm having a blast. I want to do this more. I don't like the gaps between boxes. That's no one's fault, but I want to keep the party going in between boxes somehow, you know? I feel like it's a lot of fun. I've been digging into other stuff that's also interesting. Like I just did a playthrough. You can find it in the YouTube channel for Talk Bomb. I just did a playthrough of a point-and-click escape roomy style game called Cube Escape. It's kind of inspired by Twin Peaks. So like I've been doing kind of stuff like that. That's in the vein of Hunt a Killer, but it's not Hunt a Killer, which I like doing. I want to do Hunt a Killer. I wish that we could do more. Honestly, it's also tricky. Like the Hunt a Killer Facebook page, the like official Facebook page. I wish that there was some way to like corral people there, but it's all like people that are trying to figure out what Hunt a Killer is, what it does. It's tricky. It's tricky. I'm open to suggestions how we can do something fun every 2 weeks. That's in the Hunt a Killer family. But yeah, I just like doing it. And I'm ready. I'm ready to finish season 1. 2 more boxes for me. I know that some of you guys are already on 7, right? But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, Jen, I knew it. You're on box 7. I thought so. Yeah, Shannon Wright Johnson, this has been fun. I agree. Kimmy Mack, yes, 2-week intervals. I do want to. Stavag, I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Stavag, it's cool. Yeah, go bi-weekly. Revisit after we've all had time to digest the box. It's painful being on box 7. You guys aren't. I specifically ignored a lot of it. Charles, always a good time. We can do checkup stream if we found anything new between box deliveries. Yeah, call me out. I do a lot of stuff. I do too much stuff, and it's very easy for me to get sidetracked. But yeah, call me out if you guys feel like you honestly like. We should just do like little hangouts. If you guys have anything that you feel like, oh my god, I found something, I want to talk about it, I want to know that I'm not nuts, I want to share this, let's talk this out, I want to get a hive mind going, let's do that. Let's hang out. But that means I would need your help to like push me and tell me that we've got to do another show. That'd be great. That'd be very, very fun. I'd totally be down for that. Also means I gotta find the time. It also means I gotta find the time. Yeah. You know, I produced. I've mentioned this in previous live streams. I was producing a show for Hunt a Killer that would have been something really fun to put out there for you guys so that you could watch it, and then we could even like, I would be able to talk about it during the Hunt a Killer live streams, whatever. We produced, Ryan Hogan reached out and asked if I would be interested, because through Talk Bomb, it's my production company where I do, I produce podcasts, I'm a writer, I occasionally do live streams of games and stuff. He asked if I would have any interest in producing a show, and I said yes, and we shot 2 episodes. It was a lot of fun, and things just haven't, it's not always easy to get everything to link up just right. But I've got 2 episodes of a really fun show. I love it. I have a logo that I don't want to show you. I want to show you and I don't want to show you. It actually might be on screen right now, at least on YouTube. I'm going to look around a lot to not give it away entirely. But it might be on screen right this second. Yeah, I think it's probably on screen right this second. I have an awesome logo that I made. The name of the show is super cool, but I feel like the second I say it out loud, someone's going to start a podcast with that name. I want this show to exist so bad. It would be so much fun to talk about with you guys, but maybe someday in the future. Hey, here's something. I'm going to Investigation Discovery Con. I've never gone to a convention before in my life, but I'm going to be going to Investigation Discovery Con in May 20th. Is that what that says? With my wife, Allie, and my sister, Kristen, who I host Book Club, Schmook Club with. We're going to be there, and it was tough to get tickets. On the off chance that anyone is going, hey, reach out. It'd be awesome to meet up with some fellow Hunt a Killer detectives. We need a name. What's a cool name for us? We need a group name. That's everyone's homework. Cool group name. But yeah, let me know if you're going to be at IDCon, because that's where I will be on May 20th. Stavog in the chat, I do have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/talkbomb, you can donate back. I think right now I have options. I don't have options for me alone for Haunted Sponge stuff. Talkbomb is my production company, and Hunt a Killer or Haunted Sponge is part of it. It's my blog where I focus on specifically horror and true crimey stuff. But yeah, you can go there and actually get a bunch of like bonus shows that are only available on Patreon. But yeah, I would love it if you guys enjoy what I do here. Honestly, that would be a good way to help me free up time to be able to do more stuff. If you guys have any interest in doing a Patreon thing, that actually would help me out a lot. You may not be able to tell, but it's not just me sitting in front of like a laptop right now. I have a computer that I built myself with a little webcam that's decent quality. I have a boom mic that, well, I dropped at the beginning of the show. I have equipment that I need to maintain. It costs me money to do a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to go too far down too many rabbit holes. But yeah, patreon.com/talkbomb if you are so inclined. And if you guys would be interested in me doing any form of other Hunt a Killer or true crime world related thing, let me know. And man, I wish my show was out. I wish my Hunt a Killer podcast show was out. It's a true crime show. It's fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. What's this? Brittany, if you get to meet John Kimball, please tell him Brittany said hi. I'm a big fan of his. All right, you got it. I will. Hey, what is I'm blanking on it right now. What's the name of the guy? If you're watching on YouTube, he's the guy. He's the second one in, older dude. It's like something files with blah blah blah. I don't remember his name. Anyway, my wife has a blanket with his face on it. Stupid. It would also be cool if you could show the chat in the actual video stream. I know! I've been trying to figure out how to do that. I've got to figure out how to do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here because at this point I'm just rambling, which is no fun for anyone. But seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this stream, if you enjoy what I do, please consider following me on Twitter. I'm at Haunted Sponge. I'm also at TalkBomb if you want to keep up with what my production company is doing, all the podcasts that we're putting out, things that I'm working out. You can read scripts of mine on Haunted Sponge, thehauntedSponge.com. But really, genuinely, more than anything, I'm just glad you guys had a good time because I had a really good time. And so I will see you, at the latest, I will see you in 1 month for Box 7 of Hunt a Killer, Episode 7 of Season 1 of Hunt a Killer. But until then, happy hunting, guys. I'll see you guys on the Facebook group. I will see you in the forums. I'm more of a lurker, but hey, I will be there. And you guys take it easy, and we will talk soon. Goodbye.